everybody, and welcome to this episode of Mastering Midlife, How to Thrive When the World Asks Most of You. I am your host, Mark Silverman. Today, I am joined by a friend of mine, Renauda Bennett. Renauda is way educated. She's got a bachelor's degree in sports management. She has a master's degree in sports marketing, which how we got here. This is going to be an interesting story. She worked for NASCAR. She worked for the Houston Rockets. She rose for the Astros. So for you guys in the audience, just to be completely sexist, you can listen to, she can speak our language. She's a director of membership. Member services? Member relations at the Tower Club, which I belong to. It's a business club here in Tice Corner, and it's national that I do a lot of my work in. And recently, as you can see by the sash, if you're looking at the video, she was crowned Ms. North America, something that she never thought would happen. What's really cool is she started a nonprofit called Christ's Confidence, which is helping to address young girls' confidence and their self-awareness. We'll talk more about that. Renauda, thank you for being here. I so appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited.
So I asked Renauda to be on the show because when I started to hear part of her story, I realized that she has the hero's journey, which we're always looking for in this conversation. Because when you meet Renauda, you would never know what she went through to be here, right?
That's true.
Like we were just joking about the sash, and the crown is around the corner here. 6, 7, 8 years ago, life looked a little bit different, and so we want to talk about that.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you for being on the show.
Thank you for having me.
So tell me the origin story. I met your beautiful daughter, Brooklyn,
Mm-hmm.
and you two came in and just lit up the room. And that's the presentation. That's the presentation of self,
Mm-hmm.
right? The tip of the iceberg. And we don't know the story of mom and daughter pageant winners.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So tell me about the story about how Brooklyn came to be
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So Brooklyn is a girly girl. She loves everything with the stage, front and center. She's been doing ballet since she was little. And so we were watching a pageant. It was USA. I think it was 2016. She was 4 years old, turning 4. And it was the year Deshauna Barber won, and Deshauna actually is an alumnus of my alma mater for my undergrad too, so it was super special to me. So I'm all excited running around in the house, and Brooklyn's like, "Mommy, I want to do a pageant. I want to do a pageant." She goes in her room, she puts her swimsuit on. She's walking around the house and her doing her little strut, like, "Mommy, I want to do a pageant." And I'm like, "Brooklyn, you're 3. You want to do everything." And so then she went in her room, she put on her gown, her little princess gown. She's like, "Mommy, I want to be the princess. I want to be the big crown, blah, blah, blah." And I'm like, oh my gosh, like, what am I creating this for?
Because you're in sports management.
I am not a girly girl at all. I love sports. I grew up playing sports. I quit dance to play sports, I think, when I was like 7. I'm like, what? Whatever. I was just not into pageants at all. And so she is the complete opposite of me. She's very girly, very frilly, very sassy. So she said she wanted to do pageants. I'm like, let's stick to dance. She's like, no, we want to do everything right now. So as she turned 4 and turned 5, that's something that she kept saying, "Mommy, I want to do a pageant. I want to do a pageant." So when she's turned 5, I was like, fine, you know what? I'll put you in a pageant. I found a local pageant, well, actually a state pageant, for the state of Virginia, and I put her in it, and she won. She won at 5 years old. Total pageant rookie. She lit up the stage. It was so genuine. We never had a pageant coach. I didn't know what I'm doing. So I'm like, "Brooklyn, just walk on the stage. You'll be fine." She's like, "Okay." She ended up winning into the States. That was her first pageant. And from there, she's been completely hooked. We've done probably about between like 12 and 15 pageants in the past 2 years. She makes so many friends from it. It helps with her confidence because she's super confident on stage. Off stage, she's not. She's not. And she's always asking, "Mommy, I want to go to this pageant so I can see this friend," because she knows her friends that are competing as well. So how I got to this pageant that I'm currently won, she asked me, I told her I was going to sign her up for this pageant, and she saw that there was an age division for myself. She's like, "Mommy, please, boo." I'm like, "I don't do pageants. I'm the pageant mom. I don't." She's, "Mommy, please, I just want you to do one with me." And I was like,
And this was Miss Northern Virginia or something?
So this was Miss Virginia, North America. So I talked to the director. I'm like, I don't know if I should do it. Between her and Brooklyn, they can, right? So I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to have fun. I don't have any expectations. Like, I'm really doing this to bond with my daughter because she's so passionate about it. So I ended up doing the pageant with her. We did our opening number together. It was so cute. And I ended up winning for my age division, and she won for hers. And it was the cutest thing. I will never forget that. When I was on stage being crowned, she was in the front row bawling, crying, not which made me cry. I had the ugly cry face on stage and just to see how happy she was for me, it is a moment. It was just so priceless to me. So because I won the state pageant, I automatically had to go to the national pageant.
Now, hold on. So you're telling this story as a matter of fact. When you told me the story, it was so much funnier because you were saying, like, I did this for my daughter. I'm not a pageant person.
I'm not.
I enter this pageant. Next thing I know, I win.
Yeah.
Then you thought you were done.
Yeah. Had no idea. Had no idea that I had to go to the national pageant. I'm like, wait, what? I have to take a week off of work. I got to go to Florida. I'm like, wait, it's a whole nother process. I had no clue. They did not have a national pageant for Brooklyn's age. So she won at the state and then she's done. So like I said, I had no clue. So I'm like, I have to get a gown. I have to do this. I have to like a whole checklist. I'm like, I had no clue. And so luckily I had a really nice director who helped me through everything because like I said, having no kind of experience with this, I'm literally starting. So yeah, luckily Brooklyn, she goes away with her dad for the summer. So I did take a week off, had to go down to Florida for the national pageant, FaceTimed her every day so she could see all of my outfits, got approval from the fashionista for all of my outfits and all of my gowns. And then there I competed against 14 other women. And this was an international pageant. So it was women from, I believe, 12 different states and then 2 provinces in Canada. And then end up winning that. And my mind has been blown ever since.
So now you're Ms. North America.
Ms. North America. Absolutely. It was so surreal.
So from sports gal to Ms. North America girl, and then, like this kind of mirrors Deshauna, who was military, and she, and she's up there in a gown and winning her thing. So so now, like you have this wonderful position here at the Tower Club. So you're always here and you're always elegant and you're always talking to people and welcoming them here. You're now Miss North America. So you're the spokesperson for this, but it didn't start out that way. You were talking about you didn't expect to be a single mom. Can you share that story?
Yeah, absolutely. So Brooklyn is 7. I was with her dad. We met in college. We were together off and on for about 9.5 years. And like I said, no one ever expects to be a single mom. And I was raised by a single mom. My father was an alcoholic and he was a drug addict. Him and my mom divorced at 4 or 5. So growing up, he wasn't really in my life. So being raised by a single mom, she always sets the tone. And I always think, I'm not going to go through this. This is something that you went through. Like, I'm not to say that I'm better, but I see from your mistakes and that's not the path that I want to follow. And you were college educated.
You did everything right. And
absolutely. And I was with her dad for years. It wasn't like it was one night stand or we just started dating. Like we were together for years. And so the fact that I am a single mom and I've been a single mom for this long, it's so surreal to me. But at the same time, she saved me because what I was going through when I found out that I was pregnant and I wasn't going to be with him, I would have died. I honestly would have died.
So I want you to if you're okay with slowing down here.
Yeah.
So you find out you're pregnant. Then what happens?
So we were living together in Louisiana. I was working with the Rockets at the time. And when they had the NBA lockout, they laid off our entire department. So I had just lost my job. I just found out I was pregnant. And then a week after that, I found out that Brooklyn's dad had cheated on me. Brooklyn has a sister that's 7 weeks older that lives in Louisiana.
Okay.
So I find this all out that's within 2 weeks. And I was devastated. Heartbroken. Heartbroken's not even the word.
Right.
Not even the word. This is the man I've been with for years. We had planned to start our family together. We had planned to get married. And then I'm finding out it's not going to happen that way, So I moved back to Virginia because I had my support system here. So you lost your job. Yep. And the reason I like to linger here for a moment again, especially with successful people, is because who are going through a hard time, whatever, maybe they're not pregnant, but they have something that's feeling similar. They forget when they look at you with the sash, right? Or, me in a business suit. When me talking about when I was homeless or when I was suicidal, they project that they're different than we are. Absolutely not.
And I want people to know you were at rock bottom for yourself.
Absolutely.
So the first decisions you made were
to move back home. Yeah, I knew I was going to keep my daughter. I'm not so patient about it, but I had no support down there. I don't know what was going to happen with me and him at the time, but I wasn't willing to be down there by myself. And, me being a first-time mom, I had, again, no clue what I was doing. I decided to come back home. That was the best move.
Your mom was doing.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay.
So,
yeah. So you go through your pregnancy, and did you get a job here? You got a job here?
I didn't work for the first, I want to say 8 months that I had Brooklyn, because I was trying to
figure out how if you're pregnant and single, how are you going to get a job, right?
Yep. I stayed with my mom, and I enjoyed every minute of being a stay-at-home mom, because I wanted that relationship with my daughter. I wanted to step on, and I am so grateful that I did, because we could not be.
So shout out to your mom for helping you do that.
Yes, absolutely. She was definitely my rock. Because without her, I wouldn't have been able to do it. So, yeah.
So now you have to go to work.
Mm-hmm. So I have to go to work. I got to put my big girl panties on. I got to provide for my child, because I can't lean on my mom forever.
Was there a mourning period for that? Like I need to leave my daughter and go to work?
Oh, yeah. 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 I started out part-time and eased my way into full-time for a couple of months, because I just wasn't ready. I wasn't ready. And so that's what I did. And then I ended up going back to work full-time. And it was easier to transition from that part-time to full-time than going from not working back to full-time.
Sure.
Especially when she was young. She was only about 7 or 8 months at that time as well. So ended up getting a full-time job back in Richmond. Ended up getting laid off from that one maybe about a year later. And at this point, I'm like, why do I keep getting laid off? Like, is it me? What am I doing wrong? I've had multiple people look at my resume. I prayed about it. I fasted about it. Like, I did everything I could.
You fasted?
Absolutely. Everything. Because I'm like, here I am, have a master's degree. Like, why am I not able to get a career? You know what I mean? Why am I not? All of my friends are, on that path of being successful. Even the ones that, have kids or don't have kids. And I'm like, it seemed like I was the only one for a long time. And I couldn't figure it out. And so that's also one of the things that led me to a deeper spiritual journey. And one of the reasons why I named my religion, it was through that process that I grew spiritually and learned to have faith in my journey. And that was also the time I made the decision to move to DC.
So tell me about the faith. So, because for me, one of the things is, in fact, I was talking to someone about it this morning, is a lot of us don't feel safe in the world. We feel like we're here alone. We have to survive by our own wits, right? So everything that happens is dangerous. Everything is a saber-toothed tiger, because we're so vulnerable in the world. And for me, having a faith, and I'm really not worried about what flavor faith people have but having a faith that I am okay. This body, this self can survive. Has been key in me making decisions, in me maybe risking, in me maybe going into situations that are a little bit scary, so that I could get a career, so that I could do something differently. Like, so I could start a podcast and actually talk for a living. Tell me about how that faith helped you go out and get out and find a career.
Yeah, because when the second time I left the job, I was really distraught. I wouldn't say that situation in my life and then the situation with Brooklyn Dad are the two lowest points I've had in my life. And when you hit rock bottom, it's like you don't have anywhere else to go but up. And the only way that I got up is through my faith. So
hold on. Do you know that now? Did you know that then, that the only place to go was up?
Yeah, I did. But it's hard when you're going through it. It's hard to really, it, but it's hard to, really believe it. You know what I mean? And so that's when I started fasting. That's when I started to go to church more. I went to a spiritual counselor because I knew that I had to believe in something. And I already had a Christian background. I've been baptized. And I felt like that was an opportunity for me to grow my faith. And God was trying to show me that all you need is me and I can get you a solution. And he did. And I have a testimony for it. And I don't feel like, looking back now, like I said, it's totally different when you're in the situation. But looking back, those types of situations make you to who you are. They really give you that story so that you can help someone else. And I'm telling you, the way that I felt, just doubting myself, doubting all of my accomplishments, doubting my ability to take care of my child because I provide for her. Where are we going to live? How are we going to eat? Things like that. Like, there's no worse feeling. There's no worse feeling to know that you're not going to be able to take care of your child.
So the turning point was your finding faith.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And so where'd you go? So what career, tell me about your career path.
Yeah. So when I made the decision, I was like, I'm going to move to DC, like, and just not progressive, not really at home. Like, this is where I'm supposed to be. I moved to DC. I stayed with my cousin up here for 2 months. Within the first month, I found a job with a temp agency. A week that I was with the police full time. And that was my previous position at the Hotel Association of Washington, D.C. So I was the membership and program coordinator there. Loved it. It was from me going to could not be able to find my career path to a position that I loved. It was such a blessing for me, you know, because I'm like, I started in sports. I love sports. That's my passion. I thought I was always going to be in sports. And then to go from that to not being able to find employment, to go into a whole different city and starting a position that I loved, that was my journey. So. And
now you're here at the Tower Club.
Yep.
And,
yes.
And yeah, you make this place amazing.
Aww.
So you are brilliant at what you do. Tell me about your charity, your foundation.
Yeah. So my daughter has been diagnosed with ADHD. She was diagnosed last year. But she's been struggling with focus and having quote unquote symptoms of ADHD since she was about 4. And she's also got anxiety. Like I said, when she's on stage, you could never tell. But when she's off stage, she questions herself a lot about reading and her ability to read, how she's going to be embarrassed because people are going to pick on her because she can't read and she doesn't want to. She doesn't want the teacher to call on her because she thinks people are going to make fun of her, to the point where we cry almost every night because she gets upset doing homework and says, I can't do it. And she can. And I'll sit there and work with her doing math problems and doing reading. But in her mind, she can't. She thinks that she can't.
I relate to her. I sit down to try and do my expenses or try and do anything. And I'm like, I can't do it. And then I actually can get it done. But that terror of going into that ADD fog is one of the scariest things I've ever had to deal with and had to overcome. So I'm with your daughter. I'm with Brooklyn completely. Yeah,
and it's a struggle because I'm like, how do I help her? I want to help her. I want to do everything I can, but she can't focus enough to stay still, to learn. And it's a struggle because she wants to do it so bad. And she's like, Mommy, I want to be the best reader and I want to do this. And I'm like, you will be. And I encourage her, but encouragement is not always enough. And it's, as a single mom, I'm doing everything that I can by myself. It's hard. It is hard.
Well, you're doing such a beautiful job because I met Brooklyn and that inner light is a 1,000-watt bulb. It's just genuine, beautiful love from this little girl, and really great. So tell me about what you're hoping for with the foundation.
So with the foundation, have been talking to other dance moms, other pageant moms, other my friends' kids who have daughters around her age. So I've had them come to me and tell me, Mom, I don't want to be black. I want to be a white girl because white girls get everything. At Brooklyn, we go through this. She doesn't like her curly hair. She wants her hair to be straight. She wants her hair to be blonde. She doesn't like who she is.
God, like, me and Brooklyn are so alike. I want my hair to be straight and I want my hair to be blonde. Oh my God.
I'm like, Brooklyn, like, you're beautiful. And she told me this when she was 4 years old. She was 4. I'm like, Brooklyn, don't you just want to go play outside? Like, you're beautiful. But the fact that it affected her and she did not want to be herself. I bawled crying when I put her to sleep that night because even now, up until now, like that past, I want to say year to year and a half after that, she would only play with her white dolls. She wanted to have all of her like white friends. And I'm like, Brooklyn, like, it's okay for you to have white friends, but you need to learn that you're not a white girl, okay? You're black and you're beautiful and that's fine. And you can be friends with anybody in this world. It doesn't matter if they're black, brown, red, green, it doesn't matter. But you need to love you because you're not going to change. So,
and it's so funny because I told you I thought I might make you cry and here I'm crying because I met that beautiful girl and it's like, and you know what? She's not unique in that. Like, other black girls are feeling the same. White girls are feeling the same thing. Like it's prevalent in society.
It doesn't matter what race
we're just comparing ourselves to each other, and not never ever seeing our own beauty.
Yeah. And I thought that I would go through those things when she was like 10, 11, 12. I was told, when she gets a preteen, blah, 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 from other, people who have older daughters. I never thought at 4 years old that those words would come out of her mouth. And she would feel so strongly about it. Because this isn't something that, she said one time. She said this repeatedly. She said this to myself, to my mother. This is something that she really felt strongly as. And then talking to my other friends, a lot of them had similar situations, maybe not with race, but, my daughter wants to do this and she wants to feel this way and she's not this, but she, and it's like at a young age, and I think it's the social media and it's the media that has a lot to do with that. A lot of organizations that I work with and I volunteer with, and my other friends volunteer with, they have confidence issues in girls, and they target girls who are at risk, but they start at age 8, 9, 10, 11. We need to start so much earlier, because at 4 years old, if a little girl can say, I don't like me, I don't love me, that's an issue. And
she's had all the love and support.
Absolutely.
She hasn't been told that this is something that just comes up from societal, because her grandmother loved her, her mother loved her, her dad obviously loves her, right? And it's
have no clue where she's always had. She was in pre-K with a diverse school, so I really don't know where this came from. I have no clue, but it's very disheartening for me, and to notice that my other friends had the same issues. Like, wait, where is it? This is got to stop. You've got to do something about it. You can't wait till they get 9 and then try to put in programs that help with self-awareness. No, we have to start when they're young. And so that's practically confidence. They want to start at 4 years old. And no, the events that we do for 4-year-olds are going to be different from the ones that we do at 9. But at 4, I feel like since they started to have that self-awareness, that's when we need to get them, is when they're first learning about themselves.
What a stunning and useful use of your time.
Yeah.
Question: have you figured out that you're beautiful and precious? And
don't get me cry. I have, but it took me a while. I'm 34. I'll be 35 in 2 months. I want to say up until I was 33. It took me a long time to love me.
Did the pageant actually help?
It did.
To have people judge you, just look at you and judge you and how you walk and how you talk and
it did. Well, it gave me, I don't want to say it helped, but it gave me validation, what I already knew. The good thing about this pageant is that it's 50% interview and 50% so it's not like some pageants are 10% interview and 50%. Someone you really want to know you. Our interview is about 5 minutes, and so that's so. It really, it's about how you look and how you present yourself on stage, but it's really about yourself and how you present yourself as well. And that's why I love this particular pageant system. So
what do you think had you win?
I feel like I kind of had an advantage because I talk to people for my job. This is what I do. So sitting in front of 5 people, I'm not intimidated, and I was just authentically myself. I'm cracking jokes with them. I'm not uptight, or I don't feel like I gave them answers that they feel like a pageant girl would.
You were also probably loose because you're like, what am I doing here?
Yeah, I'm and I'm a newbie. So I'm I'm here to have fun. I'm taking in the whole experience. It's very raw. I'm very just myself. I'm not pageant Patty. I'm not saying, in my platform this, and I hope for world peace. And that's not me. And I think that they really appreciated it.
Beautiful. Well, thank you for sharing your story, and thank you for sharing your story so authentically. Everybody, I know what everybody's waiting for to hear in the car is there video of you and your daughter at the pageant performing together?
I don't think there's a video, but we have pictures.
Okay.
I do have pictures.
If I could have pictures to put on the website for people to see, because I'm sure they're going to see this. So thank you for being here, and again, thank you for being willing to share. And to everybody else, thank you for sticking with us. I really appreciate your time and your precious attention. I love you, and have a great rest of the day.